Day 29, Crazy Horse Memorial. So after Mount Rushmore, my next stop was the Crazy Horse Memorial. And like so many times during that trip, I went there because everybody said you have to see it, but I didn't really know what exactly I was getting into. I will talk more about who Crazy Horse is when I discuss what I did in Montana. But just in a few words, he was a Lakota warrior who took up arms against the federal government for their encroachments on the territory and the way of life of his tribe. And he led the fight in the Battle of Little Bighorn, which also became known as Custer's Last Stand. He is one of the most notable and iconic Native Americans and is widely revered by them. As fascinating as Crazy Horse is, the story of the memorial is no less so. So in the 1930s, about 20 miles away from that place, they were building Mount Rushmore. And Henry Standing Bear, who was a local tribal chief from the same tribe as Crazy Horse, wrote to Gutzon Borglum, the sculptor in charge of Mount Rushmore, and suggested that Crazy Horse's face be incorporated along with the president's, or that Borglum should consider making same-scale memorial to Crazy Horse. None of his repeated attempts to make contact merited a reply. So in the late 1930s, Standing Bear wrote to a Boston-born son of Polish immigrants named Korczak Tsiolkovsky, who was one of the sculptors working with Borglum on Mount Rushmore. My fellow chiefs and I would like the white man to know that the red man has great heroes too, wrote Standing Bear. And that intrigued Tsiolkovsky enough that he came out to the Black Hills of South Dakota and spent a few weeks with Standing Bear and the Lakota Indians, learning about their way of life and their history and all that Crazy Horse meant to them. And by the end of these 3 weeks, he decided to make it his life's mission to build a memorial for Crazy Horse. So Standing Bear offered to exchange 900 acres of his own fertile land for a barren mountain for the purpose of building the memorial. And once the government agreed, he also refused to take any government money to sponsor the project and instead established a private foundation. The actual work on the project began after the war. Tsiolkovsky was wounded when fighting on Omaha Beach in Normandy. He also met a young volunteer at the memorial who became his second wife, and together they had 10 kids, all of whom were actively involved in working for the memorial. Because this is a private foundation, the work is advancing pretty slowly. They're always looking for funding. But once it's finished, just the head of Crazy Horse alone will be larger than the heads of all 4 presidents on Mount Rushmore, and the monument itself will be so big it will be seen from space. It will also house a campus dedicated to Native American studies and also a museum. Well, the museum is actually already there and it's pretty impressive. Now, I have to note that this whole enterprise is not without controversy. A lot of Native Americans are opposed to the idea of making a memorial, especially such a grandiose one, and they say that it's not their way. And a lot of them are not happy about the millions of dollars collected by the foundation and are wondering if all of them are put to good use. As usual, I mean, it's natural, but I just found the whole idea of this Polish immigrant becoming so involved with the Native American story and so dedicated to commemorating it, making it literally his life's work, and I thought it was very amazing. So yes, if you're ever in the Black Hills of South Dakota, Crazy Horse is no less of a must than Mount Rushmore.